How to win friends and influence people. After God and family, friends are the most important members of our environment. They are a fundamental part of our development and generally bring many positive things to our lives. Finding good, loyal, and generous friends is a blessing that we must know how to appreciate. But sometimes, it won't just depend on divine help to find good friends. We will have to show how valuable we are and how we can contribute positive things to others. That's why understanding and learning how to handle people is of vital importance. Everything matters when trying to approach new people to get to know them and hopefully find a good friendship. From the way we speak, how we listen, how we show interest, the sincerity in our conversations, and even how we refer to the person, everything matters. To find new friendships, to add valuable people to our lives, we can tell you that the key to winning friends and influencing people lies within you. And we will give you the tools to find them and use them. Winning friends and knowing how to influence people may seem simple, but they are not. In fact, there are many people who do not have true friends and never manage to influence others. So, learning some extra techniques to better interact with other people is wise. How to improve in handling people. All people have psychological needs that most ignore, maintaining a minimum level of trust, security, good humor, and optimism. We must remember that we are generally emotional creatures before thinking creatures. So when we interact, we must take into account that we should treat others the way we would like to be treated, with honesty, gratitude, positivism, and genuine interest in their affairs. By doing this, we make them feel important and we satisfy the most basic needs of the human ego. We take the first steps to establish trust. When we do the opposite, projecting a false interest, being dishonest, negative, and showing no empathy, we inevitably create the seed of resentment and distance in people. It's about putting the psychological needs of people first at certain moments. To achieve this, it is necessary to improve our ability to recognize the point of view of others, to be empathetic. There are 3 principles that help us in this task. The first principle: do not criticize, condemn, or complain. Never use criticism that instead of building, destroys. Criticisms are always necessary. We all have things to improve. Knowing how to use them and how to say them is of vital importance in handling people. Understand that harsh or obscene words do not give more meaning to the message you want to give, instead they destroy it, and destructive criticism usually becomes a futility that does not achieve harvest in the mind or spirit of others. The second principle: give honest and sincere appreciation. Honesty is extremely valuable, although it seems that it is not as much today. A sincere appreciation on an important matter for someone will always be the best way to tell that person that you are someone trustworthy. Here again, subtlety and knowing how to address others with equanimity and assertiveness need to be employed. The third principle: be empathetic at all times. We all have difficulties and a burden on our shoulders, but sometimes we don't realize how hard it is for others. When trying to help someone, be empathetic and give priority to their needs. Try to look at the matter from their perspective to better understand their situation. A friendly attitude and emotional support will make them think of you subconsciously when they have difficulties and even when things improve. 6 ways to please people. As the adage goes, no one is gold coined to please everyone, but the chances improve with these. 6 ways to treat people. 1. Really take an interest in others. In a month, you can make more friends if you truly care for and worry about these people than in a year thinking about only your personal benefit. Gratitude is important. Show it to those who cross your path, so they will see the incredible and humble person that you are. Value people's time. If you want to make friends, invest in them: time, consideration, affection, and resources. 2. Smile and show yourself to be happy. Happiness and joy tend to be contagious. Think about it. Who would you rather be with, a happy person or a person who radiates bitterness? Joy is a magnet that attracts more joyful people, the ones you need in your life. It also helps those who are not having such a good time because it reminds them that there are always reasons to smile. It's simple to see. You need to have fun getting to know others so that those people also have a good time getting to know you. 3. Use names is key. There is nothing that identifies us more than our own name, Hearing it from someone else reminds us of our existence. When dealing with someone for the first time, ask for their name. Repeat the name of the person you are getting to know in your head and out loud while they speak. This demonstrates that you recognize them as your equal, that you value them as a person by remembering their name. Always use people's names. For learn to listen, encourage them to talk about themselves. As simple as it sounds, be a good listener. If you want to be one of those people that most people want to talk to, you need to know how to listen. Take an interest, listen in silence. Don't look at your phone while they talk. Ask questions that you know that person will enjoy answering. 5. Talk about your conversation partner's interests. Former United States President Teddy Roosevelt would research the topics and issues that his visitors liked to have a more pleasant conversation with them long before the meeting. It's about making an effort. The way to a person's heart is to talk about the things they love. 6. Make them feel important, because you really believe it. It's not about flattery, much less if it's just to get something in return from that person. The intention is to create a genuine connection with another person, to pave the way towards friendship. To do this, look for the qualities and characteristics that make that person unique and special. Once you find them, remind them as much as you can. How to win over someone in their way of thinking. No one thinks exactly like you, and generally people tend to have a rigid way of thinking that doesn't accept opposing ideas. Finding ways to have a pleasant conversation with this type of person is very important to positively influence them and perhaps make a new friend. The keys are in things like having the courage to admit when we are wrong, using a friendly tone to avoid inciting hostility, and choosing the right words. Let's see 12 infallible keys that will make you an effectively persuasive person. 1. Don't look for an argument when you already know it exists. If you know or are sure that the person you are talking to is wrong, don't challenge them to prove their point, especially if you notice their confusion. This will only make them feel more uncomfortable and move further away from you. Don't try too hard to prove that you are right, just to feed your ego and personal satisfaction. Instead, do it because it will help the person in some way, if it will be a beneficial contribution. Never force someone to admit their mistake. 2. Show respect for the opinion of others. Avoid saying you're wrong. Even if you disagree or think it's wrong, always strive to respect people's opinions. Respect is the key to any relationship, friendship, or love. No matter how sure you are, respect the opinion of the person you're talking to. And of course, avoid telling them they're wrong if that won't change the outcome. Telling them won't make them change their mind and accept your opinion. The best way to make someone understand that they are in error is by explaining a reason, not by pointing them out as a wrong and inflexible person. 3. If you make a mistake, admit it. Do it as quickly as you can, as soon as you realize it. Admitting a mistake is for the brave and wise. It takes courage and confidence. Courage because it's sometimes hard to do, but when you have confidence in yourself, you know it was only a mistake and that improving is the only way for you. Confess your mistake and move on. You will not only gain the respect of the other person, but you will also reinforce the most important thing, self-respect. 4. Always start conversations in a friendly way. I believe you will agree that you will attract more flies with a drop of honey than with a liter of water. It is normal for many conversations to start with a disagreement. To make these situations easier, the best thing is to establish a connection before reigniting the reason for the disagreement. Start by giving greater importance to a point on which both of you agree. 5. Seek to have the person understand your idea from the beginning. It's simple. Once the person you're talking to has said no and has exposed their reasons, it's much more difficult to make them change their mind. Therefore, if you can expose your ideas at the beginning of the conversation, you will have more possibilities to avoid rejection. 6. Always encourage the other person to speak. Never interrupt anyone while they are talking. It is bad manners, and you may cut off a great idea or suppress an important message for that person. Encourage your friends to surpass themselves, to surpass you. Always make them feel important, that they are better, and that you are the one looking to surpass them. This way you avoid envy, and there will be more empathy. Your friends will always want to share their joys with you. 7. Let others be part of the successes. Allow people to participate, and regardless of how much they contribute, make them feel that their ideas are valuable for the conversation or the objective that you have in common. We all like to feel useful, and being the ones who give that importance will produce good feelings in those people towards us. Additionally, it will encourage them to improve in order to continue being useful. 8. Try to see the situation from the other person's perspective. Before saying something, starting a discussion about a behavior that we don't like, or expressing an opinion about something someone said, it is necessary for us to try to see or imagine things from the other person's point of view. For this, empathy comes into play, our ability to understand the other person. Seeing things as the other person will help us find a better way to communicate our vision. 9. Be open and show sympathy towards the other person's desires and needs. Be interested in the things that make the other person happy and show respect if necessary. When we feel interest and sympathy towards things that matter to us and we like, we open up more easily and generally form bonds of friendship. It doesn't matter if you don't like racing. If your friend is a Formula One fan, ask them about the races and who is winning the world championship. 10. Emphasize the positive or noble ideas to bring out the best in people. If you tell a person they are brave, they are strong, they are honest and things like that, it is very likely that you will encourage that person to exploit their qualities. If you want someone to organize their things, you will get better results by telling them, "I know you are a very organized person," instead of telling them, "Clean up your mess now." You wouldn't tell your child you are a coward for sleeping with the light on. You would tell them you are a very brave child. When you are ready, you will sleep with the light off. 11. Add action to your ideas. Sometimes it is not enough to just explain an idea or fact. In these cases, you can give an example or image to your listeners so that they can better understand what you are talking about. We want to convey a message. Everything is valid as long as we maintain respect. 12. Whenever possible, launch a challenge that builds. Legendary businessman Charles Schwab said, "To make things happen, promote a competition, not in a murky and greedy way, but with the desire to excel." People naturally want to stand out. If it is in your power, always be the one who promotes a challenge, but a good one. Let's see who exercises more this week, who eats healthier, who spends less money on nonsense, who does the best job. Here are 3 golden rules to accomplish this. First, bring attention to the mistake, but without being direct. Be careful with negatives. For example, instead of saying, "We are very satisfied with your work, but maybe if you had been a little more careful with the details, things would have turned out better," you'll get better results with this tone. "We are very satisfied with your work, and it's sure that you'll improve as you pay more attention to the details." Second, speak of your own mistakes before mentioning theirs. Telling a story that shows you also make mistakes as a human being and that you learn from them will open a channel of understanding and decrease a possible predisposition. When I first started working at the company, I didn't understand how to use the program either. Third, ask questions instead of giving direct orders. Instead of giving orders, use questions like, "What if we do it this way? Don't you think it would work better this way?" This allows the other person to feel that they are changing their attitude or way of doing something by their own decision, even though motivated by your question, instead of feeling the obligation to do something they don't want to do. Perhaps, one of the few things in our lives that doesn't harm us excessively is having good friends. Life will be sweeter and more manageable if you surround yourself with good people. This series of tools that we shared with you today will give you the power to find new friendships and influence them for a common good with wisdom. That's our invitation to be better today. If you liked this video, give it a like and share the link with your friends and contacts so they can also learn how to make friends and influence people. We'd love to read your comments. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, do it now and activate notifications so you'll stay up to date with our latest posts.